I have been tagged by Vitoldian, and I'm going to go through some books just now. Some of them I've not read recently, some I'm partway through reading at the moment. I'll start with the only fiction book that I've got here. That is this one, The Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. I first read this when I was still at school, and it had quite an impression on me, because it brought up all kinds of images of what the world would be like if some terrible catastrophe hit and there were only a few surviving humans, and how they might be able to put society back together. I've probably read it 3 or 4 times over the years, and it's got some very interesting stuff in there. Next, these two books sort of go together. The great Richard Feynman, 6 easy pieces and 6 not so easy pieces. The thing about Richard Feynman was he didn't really write books. These are more or less transcripts of some of his lectures. But for anybody who's not familiar with Richard Feynman, I strongly recommend looking him up. There are plenty of videos of him on YouTube being interviewed, and some lectures on quantum electrodynamics, which can be quite hard to follow, but he's very good at explaining things. So yeah, basically the first one, 6 easy pieces, describes it's not that easy really. Some of it is, but the physical laws of motion and F equals ma and all that kind of stuff. And then the other 6 not so easy pieces goes a lot more into things like relativity and quantum mechanics. This is the first Richard Feynman book I read, which is sort of autobiographical. The way it was put together is a number of interviews with him were recorded, and then the transcripts of the recordings were edited together into what became this book, Surely You're Joking, Mr Feynman. Very entertaining. It tells the story of when he was working on the bomb at Los Alamos, and his safe cracking exploits, and yeah, no, very interesting read. Not a sort of continuous story from start to finish, but more just a collection of memoirs. This is a book which I picked up in a second-hand bookshop when I was a student. Probably quite obscure, W.M. Smart, The Origin of the Earth, written in 1951, and it's a very readable introduction to astronomy, to the solar system in particular. So if anybody can find this, highly recommended by Finlog. Here's another book. I sort of think of this as my Bible. It is Pears Cyclopedia, 1973 edition. This is another thing I picked up for about 50 pence in a second-hand bookshop years ago, and it's a condensed, well, there we go, 50p, 11th of May 1996. That's when I that's when I got this. It has a section on science, ideas and belief. Very interesting. It lists alphabetically almost every major religion that you could think of and describes it, what the beliefs are. It's a very handy reference. General information. I've referred to this many times over the years, and still do sometimes. It's a bit out of date, but handy nonetheless. Carl Sagan, Demon Haunted World. Carl Sagan was a very good communicator of science and astronomy. Great inspiration to me. This is one of the last books he wrote before he died, and this goes into a little bit into the psychology behind conspiracy theories and religious beliefs and so-called alien abductions, and it deals with the difference between science and pseudoscience. Another excellent book, Demon Haunted World, if I didn't mention that already. This is quite a recent book, Why Does E equal MC Squared, by Brian Cox and Jeff Forshaw. Brian Cox at the moment is, or has just recently completed a excellent TV documentary series called Wonders of the Universe. He did another program probably about 6 months ago called Wonders of the Solar System. Very good graphics, very good program. But anyway, this book, Why Does E equal MC Squared, it tries to explain that famous equation in easy to understand. Yeah, this explains a little bit about relativity, and it gives some background as to why does E equal MC squared, and why should, did I say scared? Why does E equal MC squared, and why should we care? It's quite a readable book, and it has helped me to refine my understanding of that famous equation, but there are still parts of it which baffle me, so it's one of these books I'm going to read again sometime, maybe get more from it. This is one I'm part way through at the moment. I'm about halfway. John Gribbin, In Search of Schrodinger's Cat. I got this one specifically on the recommendation of Phil Hellenes. So, I have a whole stack of other books which I might mention in another video sometime, but that's just a few to set the ball rolling. Thanks for watching.